Alrighty, welcome to this next game between brazil424 playing the white Protoss against AliFoRiA playing the Zerg, green Zerg. Right, we have a PVZ today, and Brazil, I guess, is very happy for being Protoss. Okay, I don't exactly remember whether I casted their game or not. I think there was maybe one game between the guys. So I'm not sure, but anyway, I expect a nice game here because both players are very great players, really good ones, although Brazil is playing low maps by default. But he plays quite a few fastest maps, and he's getting used to the different timings and strategies. But of course, a fastest map player like AliFoRiA, who has more experience, has more advantage. But Brazil can really utilize his skills that he acquired via low maps, like macro skills, micro skills, unit controls, and so on. So these things can also be used in fastest, of course. So even though if a pro fastest map player, who of course has more experience on this map, can be easily tricked, and of course you can be a great opponent against him if you come from a low map originally, and then you can use your godlike micro, for example. Okay, alright, so let's see. Brazil is just starting off with 4 gates, and then now he discovers his enemy. So right now, what Brazil is doing is he's really annoying the drones. He's trying to prevent them from making the creep colonies. But since he was low on shield, he didn't want to spend more time there, so he just let AliFoRiA make the creep colonies. Zealots are now coming and then heading towards his base. AliFoRiA is well prepared because he has Zerglings here, and yeah, Brazil saw those lings, to be exact, and he turned back immediately and prepares for a long macro game. Most probably will go for extra nexus. Cybernetics core is on the way, and he might skip the nexus and then just focus on the drops. So this is a situation where the Protoss player can go reverse and either use them for drops or to push the choke. You can just put reverse here and start shooting the choke, it's alright, or you can go for the drop directly and then make a damage in the economy of the Zerg player. Alright, so he decided to go on with the Stargate, and he seems to be going on with the Corsair tech. It's really nice against Zerg. In the beginning, if you quickly start off with 2 Corsairs and then go on the hunt against the Overlords, then it can really be a pain in the ass for the Zerg player. You are just losing lots of minerals because you have to remake the Overlords. You cannot make units. You cannot really do anything, and once the Overlords are out, then you have some possibility to get drones or Hydras. But then the Overlords are dead again because the Corsairs are still in the environs, and they can just go and quickly kill the newer Overlords. And that poor Overlord, oh my god, he sees his fate. Or he doesn't. Anyway, he's just okay, he's just heading towards his death. Yep, that's exactly what happened. And Brazil was just immediately sending that Corsair there, so yeah, this is a welcome drink for AliFoRiA's Overlord. Okay, so Well, he has prepared the Hydra then, which is the best option in this case. You can't think of any better options than getting quick Hydras to be able to protect these overlords. And of course some spore colonies come handy too. So right now the overlord hunt begins, and Brazil just makes will most probably make some more corsairs and then do the overlord kill, and then after that the drop will be followed, most probably Templar drop. So now he's searching for the overlords, but he has killed one here. Okay, they seems to be going to the exact location, so they will just find this overlord and bye bye. Okay, he's not really dealing with that anyway. He's just he's just scouting. He's scouting. He's not really devoted to this attack. He's not hunting for overlords. He was just scanning his base. He was exploring this upper part to see if there is any more serious drop defense, but I guess he didn't really see that. Some spore colonies and some hydras. So Brazil is just focusing on the drop now. He will use these two corsairs to support the shuttle. AliFoRiA is getting bigger and bigger, slowly but surely, adding some more hatcheries. He's fine at the moment. This game is really looking good for him. He hasn't lost any drones yet. He has some hydras, he has hatcheries building up. He has just decent drop defense, spore colonies and hydras. And of course, now he sees this drop, because this is a very good move. He just burrowed some zerglings right there, so he will be able to see these drops in advance, and he can be prepared. So he has the hydras here, and then also he has some spore colonies. Okay, Brazil is just gathering up here at the very corner, and he's not coming with the drop. Okay, let's see. So AliFoRiA was prepared, but he managed to drop this. He managed to dodge this drop by moving all his drones. He lost quite a few there, but this isn't a big deal for him. He was prepared, so he immediately moved the drones, and the hydras just managed to kill the reavers quite fast. Right, this is a quick arbiter. We'll most probably save up for recall. Brazil is actually really a tech player with Protoss, so he's not really building many gateways. He just builds some in the middle of his base, and then after that he becomes really tech, oriented. He's really focusing on High Templars, Arbiters, Reavers, Corsairs, and well, yeah, that's his style. He's really well, he brought this from low maps, because in low maps, Protoss army is really well mixed. It contains Zealots, Dragoons, Reavers, Corsairs, Templars. So most of the Protoss units, and Brazil is just trying to utilize this in fastest map as well. So he's getting all these units. Okay, free free Nexus. That's something. And AliFoRiA right now is focusing on the drop defense. That's his main task anyway to do. He's not adding extra hatcheries, but he's adding scourges, hydra, spore colonies. He wants to be safe for drops, because this is the second phase in a PvZ game, like the drops. And if the Zerg survives this phase and doesn't get dropped, after that he has just enough minerals to get more hatcheries, get big, and then attack his opponent. So it's looking good for him. Even though Brazil is just maxed out anytime soon and has a really mixed army, AliFoRiA is alright because he has some choke. He can start soon, so he can start producing units. He has the economy. He just has to add some more hatcheries, and then after that he should be okay. Yeah, hatcheries are being added, and he's preparing for the late game right now. He's safe for drops. This is a very very hard phase for the Protoss player, because they really have to find out something to be able to kill the Zerg. Okay, so the drop is being prepared, but he really needs to be smart with this drop, because lots of Sunkens, Hydras, and Mythos, who will soon become Guardians. So once Guardians are around the main, then it's very hard to drop, because these Guardians instantly kill whatever is dropped out of the shuttle, really. It's a very good defense, so especially with AliFoRiA, he tends to do this. He always has Guardians all around his main. Okay, so more and more units are gathering up, and Brazil is using the reverse this time, not to drop, but to go and break the choke that I mentioned in the beginning of the game. Okay, so AliFoRiA just requires some more minutes, but he's sending these Guardians just to win some time, a little time. He needs his hatcheries finishing, and then after that he will be able to produce units. So he's sending these Guardians, but the Arbiter is there in time. So yeah, the Spore Colony is doing a great job. He managed to kill most of his rivers, because the spores acted as a detector instead of the overlords. But right now Brazil is just coming with his units and tries to break this choke. Right, the problem is that he lost many of his units early in the beginning of this attack, and he only has some Zealots and Dragoons. And the Guardians, of course, are killing the Zealots, so right now he has to utilize his units to fight against these Guardians. Right, so the drop is coming inside. He picked up those rivers, but oh, bad. That was very bad. He lost his shuttles, lost his rivers. So right now he's in a really bad spot. He quickly has to replenish his army and get some cannons. Against this army, as a Protoss, you can only win by Reavers and Templars, and of course some ground units. Right, he will most probably use this Dark Archon for Maelstrom. Right, nice storms are going off, but the problem is that he's running out of Templars. The Guardians have arrived, so this will be a hard time for Brazil. Really needs to focus on this. These Guardians are in a good spot, and right, big storm is coming off. Oh, okay, that was a nice storm. So the Corsairs are now chasing these Guardians and killing them all. He'll be safe for that, but more and more Guardians and Hydras are joining the fray. Okay, those Corsairs were badly controlled, unfortunately, and they were dead instantly. But the storms are going off, and oh my god, that was a huge storm. the sickest storm ever. It killed all the guardians and all the hydras, and now the maelstrom is off, and right now the guardians were stopped for a moment. Alright, so actually Brazil did a really nice job. I expected him to be really damaged right here, but he did a nice job with storms, Corsairs, and the Maelstrom, of course. It was really a nice job. He survived long enough, and now he's able to produce more units. Okay, so he has one attack upgrade and 2 armory, while let's see AliFoRiA, who has 2 on the attack and 1 on the defense as regards upgrades goes. Okay, so that's what you need as a Protoss player, excuse me. So cannons, reavers, Templars, and Corsairs, and then basically you are invulnerable, and your base cannot be entered, which is good, especially at this phase of this game. Okay, so AliFoRiA is preparing for a nice drop. He is really loading up his overlords, and this will be a huge one. Brazil has some cannons and leaves 2 Templars here. It's really a good option. Leaving some Templars here is also good against Mutabomb. The storms really weaken the Mutas, and then the available cannons can easily kill kill them. So it's a nice option to defend against Mutabomb. Right, so this observer is in a good spot. Okay, let's see the timing. Alright. Okay, I think... Yep, he didn't see. Alright, so or did he? I'm not sure. Anyway, yep, I think he saw that, but I'm not sure because... to be honest, I was like 100% certain that this observer didn't see that drop. But anyway, Brazil was prepared, and he has just quickly status these overlords, so now they will be freeze for forever. Seriously, forever. The longest spell in the game is this status field. It just it can freeze you for days, and then yeah. Right, so the Zealots are facing the Hydras and the Guardians, which is not really a good option for them, as they are vaporizing instantly. Right now their Maelstrom is off. But the problem is that there aren't any units who can find them. So maybe this... okay, yeah. Well, this didn't pay off really well because there were no units to attack them. So, yeah, they were freed quite fast. Right, so the storms are going off and killing these units. Brazil really needs to focus on his Templars and save up energy for these Guardians and Hydras. Okay, so he has one defense upgrade on his air units, and Brazil he's not focusing on the shield, but rather the armor and the attack upgrades. More and more Hydras are coming, and the Guardians are slowly and surely finished off, but the problem is that more and more extra air units are prepared, and also the Hydras are starting to do some damage. But the cannons are doing a great job, and also the Templars are really killing these Hydras. Okay, so the Guardians are supported by the Devourers, which is really nice. This is very hard to fight because the Corsairs who are heading towards the Guardians are killed by the Devourers, and but right now Ali wasn't really focusing and left these Guardians alone. So right now these Devourers became quite useless. He really needs to pull back with these Devourers. He might lose them all if he doesn't pay attention. Yep, he's just chasing the shuttle, and he's not really paying attention to these Devourers, but right now he has managed to pull them back to a safer distance. Okay, more and more Zerglings are joining the fray, but these are instantly killed by the Reavers. Okay, Ellie really requires his units to be collected right here and then just gather up, make sure they are all together and not sent there one by one. And then after that he could go on the bus. Anyway, the Guardians are now coming and starting to attack these ground units. The goons are not really in the range, so they cannot really shoot the Guardians, and Brazil doesn't really have any. Okay, he started to make carriers. I just wanted to say that he doesn't really have Corsairs to attack these Guardians, so these Guardians can really make the difference once the Maelstrom is off. Okay, so right now these units are combined and the Hydras are being supported by the Guardians. But still, Brazil is really having a nice defense because the goons are doing a great job killing these Hydras and goons. Those, the Hydras and Guardians. And also, the Reavers are really killing these Hydras, and then you can just focus on the rest. Okay, lots of Hydras. Okay, look at that. So many Hydras are joining this fight here. And this time he did a good job by leaving these Devourers here, because they are instantly killing the interceptors coming out from the carriers. So the carriers cannot really be utilized. More and more Hydras are joining the fray. The Templars do not really have any energy, so they cannot be used for Storm, which could be the okay, so these High Templars have Storm now, and oh my god, that was a nice one. He really needs those Stormers. If you cannot cast a Storm, then this game can be over right now. Lots of Hydras are joining this attack, and also Defiler is waiting at the back. Brazil is in a bad spot. He doesn't really have... he has only a few Storms. And once these Storms are off, then these Hydras can easily kill the ground units of Brazil. More and more Hydras are flooding the base. And Brazil is running out of Templars. He has lost many of his Templars, so he doesn't really have anything to fight. Yep, that's it. GG.